After dinner at my company gala, I stepped to the mic. 200 guests at the Scottsdale Princess. My COO, Danielle, had organized the whole event. She was expecting to receive our leadership award. Instead, I announced that Danielle Prescott had resigned effective immediately due to significant financial irregularities. I said it like a parking policy update. Flat, done. Danielle gripped the edge of the tablecloth. My husband Marcus stood up and walked out without looking at me. But let me start from the beginning. I'm posting this from a throwaway because Danielle's trial starts in 3 weeks, and my attorney only cleared me to share the broad strokes. Some details are changed. The dollar amounts are not. I started my real estate firm, Hargrove Residential, in 2014 out of a shared office space in Scottsdale, one of those recused setups where you're basically renting a desk and pretending you have a real company. By 2023, we were closing over $40 million a year across the Phoenix metro. I'm telling you that so you understand the scale of what they took from me. My COO was Danielle Prescott, best friends since sophomore year at ASU, maid of honor at my wedding, godmother to my daughter. She ran operations, payroll, vendor contracts, basically everything that wasn't client-facing. I handed her the entire back office and never looked over her shoulder. That was the mistake. My husband Marcus worked in commercial lending, good salary, but my income was roughly 4 times his. That never seemed to bother him, or I told myself it didn't. I found out on a Tuesday in March. Actually, I think it was a Tuesday. It was definitely March, because the office AC wasn't running yet, and I had the window cracked. I was going through Q1 expense reports because our margins had been sliding for about 18 months. More deals closing, less profit clearing. Didn't make sense. I noticed a recurring payment to something called Meridian Property Solutions, $8,200 a month, billed as staging fees. Okay, so here's the thing about real estate staging. Costs vary wildly per property, and nobody questions them, ever. A $4,000 staging bill on a $700,000 listing, totally normal. So I pulled our staging invoices against actual listings. Half the invoiced properties had never been staged at all. The staging photos in our system were stock images. I reverse image searched one on Google, and it came back as a Shutterstock listing. Danielle had approved every single invoice. I found 2 more vendors pulling the same thing. Crestline Consulting Group, billing for market analysis on properties we'd already closed. SWD Management Services, charging inspection coordination fees that our actual inspectors knew nothing about. All 3 were LLCs registered under Marcus's cousin Tyler's name. Tyler, who I'd had over for Thanksgiving twice. The amounts had escalated mid-2021. It started around $8,000 a month total. By the time I caught it, they were pulling over $60,000 a month. They'd gotten comfortable, lazy really, combined over roughly 30 months. $1,847,312. I didn't confront anyone. I drove home, kissed Marcus on the cheek, poured a glass of the Trader Joe's cab we always had on the counter, and sat on the patio until it got dark. I don't even remember what I thought about, just recalculating, I guess, every memory running through some new filter. Next morning, I called Rebecca Torres, a forensic accountant a colleague had used during her own divorce. $14,000 for the full engagement, paid from my personal checking account. It took her 6 weeks to map everything. Wire transfers from my firm went to the 3 shell companies, got consolidated into a joint account at a credit union in Henderson, Nevada, then funneled into Marcus's personal brokerage and Danielle's savings. Everyone's going to ask, so I'll just say it. No, Marcus and Danielle were not sleeping together. Rebecca checked that angle too. Separate residences. No shared travel. No suspicious communications beyond the financial coordination. Somehow that made it worse. It wasn't passion or some messy affair. It was just arithmetic. My best friend and my husband looked at my business and decided they deserved a piece. I spent the next 4 months pretending everything was normal. That was genuinely the hardest part. Not the betrayal itself, but sitting across from Marcus at dinner every night, laughing at his jokes, letting him put his hand on my back. We watched the entire 4th season of Yellowstone. During that stretch, he kept saying Beth was his favorite character. The irony was not lost on me. I went to brunch with both of them on Mother's Day, someplace in Old Town, with $17 mimosas. Danielle made a toast to our friendship. I made it to the bathroom before I threw up, and this is where it gets really good. If you're enjoying this, hit subscribe. We drop new ones daily. Meanwhile, I'd retained Claire Whitfield, the most aggressive divorce attorney in Maricopa County. Her retainer alone was $12,000. Marcus had signed a prenup in 2016 with a fraud provision, which, looking back, was the single smartest thing I ever did, even though my mother told me it was unromantic. The provisions said if we could prove financial fraud against a marital asset, he'd be entitled to nothing. I filed the FBI referral and a criminal complaint with the Maricopa County Attorney's Office 2 weeks before our annual gala. The sealed indictments were already in process. My attorney coordinated the timing with the prosecutor. I know how that sounds. Yes, I planned it. And that brings us to the moment I told you about at the beginning. The gala, September 14th. Danielle had organized the whole thing. Seating charts, centerpieces, the DJ playlist, all of it. I'd let her believe she was getting the award for weeks. After my usual remarks thanking the team and our clients, I did what you already heard. Danielle's husband leaned over and said something to her I couldn't hear from the stage. Nobody gasped. The room just got very still. That specific kind of quiet where 200 people are all thinking the same thing, and nobody wants to be the first one to breathe. The arrests came 6 days later. I filed for divorce the same week because of the fraud provision in the prenup. Marcus got nothing, not the house, not my retirement, not a cent of the business. His attorney tried to challenge the prenup as unconscionable. The judge was not sympathetic. His exact words were something like the provision exists for precisely this scenario. That was a good day, but here's the part that doesn't fit the revenge fantasy. My 7-year-old was at my mother's house the night of the gala, and when Marcus was arrested, she didn't understand why Daddy couldn't come home. She still doesn't fully get it. I'm in therapy every Thursday, partly for the betrayal, partly for the guilt about how I handled all of this around her. A quieter approach probably would have been better for my kid. I picked the version that felt righteous, and she's paying part of the cost for that choice. I sit with that every day. Tyler took a plea deal and cooperated fully. Marcus pleaded guilty to wire fraud 8 months after indictment and got 36 months federal. He's at a facility in Safford now. Danielle's trial starts in 3 weeks. I will very likely have to sit in that courtroom and testify against my daughter's godmother. And honestly, I don't know how I'll feel when I'm looking at her. Part of me still misses her, which is messed up. I know my firm cleared $46 million last year. My new COO, Priya, is excellent. And no, she does not have access to accounts payable. I check that personally every single week now. I don't think I'll ever stop. If you've had someone you trusted completely betray you, drop it in the comments. And if you're sitting there with a gut feeling that something's off with your finances, pull the thread. It won't get smaller. Trust me. Update: Marcus's mother still sends me passive-aggressive birthday cards. I frame them. Last one had a Bible verse about forgiveness. Sure, Carol,